لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك. في المدينة محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
The airlift operations for the 2017 Hajj exercise has been flagged off. The inaugural flight to Saudi Arabia took off from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Sunday the 30th of July 2017. More than 400 pilgrims drawn from the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, constituted the first batch of pilgrims. The acting president, Yemi Oshibanjo, represented by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, performed the inaugural ceremony of the 2017 Hajj airlift operations of Nigerian pilgrims. He also delivered his message. In it, he urged the pilgrims to be good ambassadors of Nigeria and also adhere strictly to the teachings of Islam during the Hajj and always.
Each and every one of you is an ambassador of this beautiful country. I appeal to you to conduct yourself with the fear of Allah, to conduct yourself as very good ambassadors of this Nigeria, and I pray that when you go there, you will have a very peaceful, successful, and rewarding Hajj.
In his remarks, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, represented by the Emir of Bauchi, Alhaji Ahmed Rilwanu, called on Nigerian pilgrims to respect the rules and regulations of both Nigeria and Saudi Arabia.
Hajj is an act of worship. You are going for pilgrimage and not on holiday or tourism. You must not spoil the efficacy of your acts of worship with prohibited acts, such as fornication, intoxication, fighting and insulting other pilgrims or officials, and generally engaging in acts not contained in the prescribed activities of Hajj.
Speaking earlier, the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar, stated that the commission made all the necessary arrangements to ensure a hitch-free Hajj exercise.
As we speak, Your Excellency, our advance team have arrived Saudi Arabia in the last 5 days. They have taken position awaiting the arrival of Nigerian pilgrims to attend to them in terms of administrative needs, medical services, and other consular support, with the assistance of our consulate in Jeddah and the Riyadh Embassy.
The Ministers of State Aviation, Foreign Affairs, as well as representative of CAN President also spoke at the occasion.
Please do not carry anything that is prohibited into that land. I know this has been said many times. All I'm saying has been said many times, but it's very, very important that I emphasize on it. The most popular among them is this cola. They consider it in Saudi Arabia as drug. Please do not carry it.
As Nigerian pilgrims, I hope you'll act as good ambassadors of the country and behave accordingly.
I want you to go on pilgrimage as an honorable Nigerian and demonstrate good character and pray for the future of Nigeria.
Some pilgrims expressed satisfaction with the level of preparations for the 2017 Hajj exercise.
So far what they have done, I think I will give them 80% pass mark for what they have done so far, from the beginning of the preparation up till this moment.
To a great extent, I'll say they're doing a very good job. It's not easy to handle a large volume of applications and pilgrims traveling. So far so good. I think they're doing a good job, and I hope they will continue even when we get to Saudi Arabia.
Now that the airlift operations has been flagged off, the exercise will commence in earnest in the zones. Close to 95,000 Nigerians are expected to perform this year's Hajj. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has been making efforts to sensitize tour operators on arrangements made for the 2017 Hajj exercise. In carrying out this assignment, NAHCON organized seminars for the tour operators in Kano, Lagos and Abuja.
This workshop.
Speaking during the seminar in Abuja, NAHCON head of tour operators Alhaji Ali Dushutu urged tour operators to be vigilant and watch out for defaulters from any service provider during the Hajj.
For this year's Hajj, immediately you notice any shortcoming during Hajj, do not wait till after Hajj. You have to report to the Hajj Commission immediately, because the intended pilgrims, they struggle to pay for this Hajj. And the purpose is for them to have Hajj Mabrur, not for you to come after Hajj to be complaining when the services they're supposed to enjoy, the services were not there.
All our clinics, including Medina this year.
While presenting a paper on the topic, Organization of the Nigerian Medical Mission for Hajj, a guide for tour operators, Dr. Jibrin Suleiman explains the measures taken by NAHCON to improve its medical services.
If you are a Nigerian pilgrim in Saudi Arabia, whether you are international or not, you are free to access any of our clinics in Saudi Arabia. And we are going to pass certain information to Alhaji Shuti, who is going to communicate it to all the tour operators on the location of those clinics and the contact persons in case of emergency.
The presentation generated questions and comments from participants.
Head of our own medical team, for example, should liaise with your own team to ensure that the areas where the tour operator needs to do something differently. For example, now we don't have our own clinics.
Another paper on the e-track services was also presented by the NAHCON ICT unit to guide participants on the new arrangements introduced by Saudi Arabia. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is meeting with Islamic scholars across the country in effort to create greater understanding on the Commission's activities, as well as developing effective ways for pilgrims' enlightenment. NAHCON officials, among them, the Commissioner of Operations Abdullahi Saleh Modibo, Acting Commissioner of Planning, Research, Statistics, Information and Library Services Alhaji Suleiman Ibrahim, and its Secretary Dr. Mohammed Bello Tambuwal, carried out the assignment. During its campaign in Kaduna, the officials explained to the scholars the activities of NAHCON in the area of regulation, Hajj fair, pilgrims' education, airlift, as well as feeding, among others. In an interview, NAHCON Secretary Dr. Bello Tambuwal shed more light on this.
To kindly agree to relate the information to the general public because they are closer. We have explained to them that the efforts made by the Commission to bring down the cost of Hajj fair through beating down the cost of accommodation in Medina, elimination of agents, through reduction in the cost of accommodation in Mecca, through other efforts the Commission is making to improve the general workings of the Commission, establishment of Hajj Training Institute, establishment of Hajj Savings Scheme to enable the public in future to be able to pay incrementally, so that over time they will be able to pay and the money will be invested, and then whatever proceeds are gotten is rolled over until they are able to complete payment for them to perform Hajj over a period of time.
The officials also held similar meetings in Sokoto, Gombe, Lagos and Kano with plans to move to other states.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria is expected to airlift nearly 95,000 Nigerian pilgrims for the 2017 Hajj, representing an increase of 20,000 over the figure allocated to the country in the last few years. This came after the Saudi authorities restored Nigeria's annual quota of 95,000 pilgrims. It was cut to 75,000 as a result of the expansion work taking place at the Grand Mosques of Mecca and Medina. This decision by the kingdom applied to all countries.
The increase or the restoration of the quota to Nigeria means that there is a reduced pressure on demand. That means it is a welcome development for the whole Muslim Ummah of Nigeria. That is to say, more seats are now available for those desiring to seize the opportunity and go and perform Hajj. And that it has one additional advantage. You know, we also have private tour operators. That is those we call the licensed Umrah and Hajj travel agencies in the country, licensed by NAHCON. They have also benefited tremendously from it because it is like their own quota has been doubled. They used to enjoy a total of 10,000 seats allocated to them, and now they have 20,000 seats. So their customers will also have a possibility of satisfying more demand.
With the tour operators getting 20,000 now and the states having 75,000, NAHCON has a yardstick in sharing the seats to each state or tour operator. To determine the number of pilgrims to be allocated for either states, private tour operators, and as well as the armed forces, NAHCON uses certain criteria. These include number of Muslim population of a state, scope of demand, compliance with licensing requirements in respect of states or tour operators, timely remittance of Hajj fare to NAHCON. Alhaji Abdullahi Modibo Saleh sheds more light on these.
And that they have relatively more or less different impact on different states. You will first of all appreciate that some states are largely populated by Muslims, whereas other states have a fewer proportion of Muslim citizens, if you can say that, and that this is a major factor. It has been the driving or the most important influencing factor.
Also included as a factor is the requirement by all state pilgrims board to have facilities needed for the management of Hajj activities.
This time around, the Commission, in implementing one of the cardinal provisions of the mandate of the Act that established it, has licensed the states. And by licensing the states, it takes into consideration a number of factors to give them license accordingly. Now, the level of preparedness of the state, that is its ability to deploy human and material resources towards efficient and coordination of the provision of the Hajj service, is another important factor now, in addition to the factor of Muslim population proportion in the state.
In addition to this, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, categorizes states into A, B, and C grades. With this scale of measurement, states with grade A gets more pilgrims, then followed by states in the B and C categories.
If you have a state that is categorized as C, it means you would go and find that probably it doesn't have a serious office establishment. Maybe it has even no law establishing the Hajj agency or board, for example, or it may not be having staff that are dedicated for the activities of Hajj. Some states actually use even casual staff to run affairs of Hajj, and in that case, of course, you know, they are not as prepared as a state that has an established structure, that has an established office with office equipment and facilities for the processing and managing of the provision of the Hajj service.
Just as is the case with the states, NAHCON also sets guidelines for tour operators, which they must comply with before each operator gets its share of pilgrims.
In the first place, all the travel agencies have a uniform or a departure point that is common to all of them. That is to say, they have to be licensed IATA travel agents. they have to have offices, they have to have a certain number of staff that are in their agents. They have to also comply with other industry requirements, in addition to which NAHCON also gives rules and regulations. The rules and regulations are many. I do not want to list them for you, but the experience of the travel agency is important. That is how long it has been doing Umrah and Hajj without defaulting and without having been reported to have misbehaved in one way or another. That is in terms of honesty, transparency, sincerity vis-a-vis its relationship with its clients. And then it also, NAHCON also considers its package. That is to say, what are the services rendered by the travel agent and at what pay that the clients are exposed to. And these are considerations that influence the distribution or the allocation of seats to the travel agencies.
Sometimes after the allocation, for some reasons, these agencies write to NAHCON to seek for an increase or reduction. The states also do the same.
If a state cannot exhaust its allocation, it will release the seats allocated back to NAHCON, and NAHCON will accordingly pass it to states that are desirous of such additional seats.
Alhaji Abdullahi Modibo says NAHCON, in its wisdom, advises states and tour operators to give priority to first-timers during registration, as this will give more opportunity for others to go for Hajj or Umrah. With 2017 Hajj at hand, NAHCON has already allocated to each state or tour operator its quota from the 95,000 Nigerian pilgrims. But which has the highest or lowest will be determined by the ability of a state or tour agency to comply with NAHCON rules. Hajj rites are performed on specific days of Zulhijjah, which is the 12th of Islamic calendar. In each of these days, there are specific Hajj rites pilgrims are expected to perform. These rites are the focus of Hajj talk this week. Chief Imam of Ongwarimi Central Mosque in Kaduna, Imam Musa Tanimu, is our guide. He starts with the Hajj period.
In terms of months, we have 3 months: Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, Zulhajj. We have a very long time and we have a short time. You can even start your Hajj since from Shawwal, immediately after the fasting. That will end up to the 9th of Zulhajj. That's roughly 70 days. So, but the only thing you will do, but there are some specific days on 8th of Zulhajj, 9th of Zulhajj, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th. These 6 days are the most busiest.
Imam Tanimu says pilgrims can put their ihram and declare the intention of Hajj from Shawwal, the 10th month of Islamic calendar.
You can do your ihram since from Shawwal, intention, and do your Umrah and stay on the Kaaba throughout that period till on 8th of Zulhajj. You can come at Zulqa'dah, do your ihram, stay in Mecca till 8th of Zulhajj.
What should pilgrims occupy themselves with on the 8th of Zulhijjah?
On the 8th of Zulhajj, we expected any Hajj person who wanted to perform pilgrimage on that year should perform ghusl, that's ritual bath. He should put the clothes recommended by Sharia, depending on your sex, because we have different types of clothes for the sex, for the male and the female. Therefore, if you are a female, you are expected to wear certain clothes that cover all your body, except if you are a female, except your hand and the leg or her face. But for the man, that's male, they are also specified. There are 2 types of clothes. They want to to tie their, this is just like a wrapper, and the one to put on their shoulder. So after you've taken bath, you should put that clothes. We expected to put them white, except for female, they can put any color. But it's highly recommended for the male to use white clothes.
Pilgrims then move to Mina and spend the night. On the morning of the 9th, they proceed to Arafah.
All the Hajj, all the pilgrims on that year are expected to be there. Whatever your number, even if you are in 10 million, you should provide, you should converge there. As it was said in the Hadith, Al-Hajj al-Arafah. The main activities of the pilgrimage is Arafat. When you reach Arafah, this is a very wide place. There's a mount of Arafah. You have a lot of options. You can be close to the mountain of the Arafah. You can be on top of it. You can be by its side. So all the pillars have already been demarcated, where they call Arafah. Because not everywhere you will stay, you see you are on the Arafah. Stay there. You should perform Zuhur and Asr prayer, converge together, congregation and shorten. That is 2 rakats. And remain there in the vicinity of the Arafat throughout the day till the sunset.
At sunset on that day, pilgrims travel to Muzdalifah, where they are to perform their Maghrib and Isha prayers combined and shorten Isha to 2 rakats. They remain there till daybreak. After offering the morning prayer, they go back to Mina for the pelting of the Jamara.
And on the 10th, you are proceeding, you are leaving the Arafah, you are leaving the Muzdalifah to where you are going to throw the stone. We call it Jamratul Aqaba. That is stoning a specific place in Mina. While you are leaving the Muzdalifah, you should get the required numbers of stone to throw into the throwing place, which is supposed to be 7. So you should throw the first Jamra on that day, that is on 10th. That is the day of Eid. So when you finished, on that 10 you should only throw the Jamra once, because there are 3 Jamrats. Or you should throw the stone to 1 Jamra alone, only. Then when you finished, you proceed inside Mecca, Bayt al-Haram, where you are going to perform Tawaf al-Ifala, circumambulation around the Kaaba, which is another pillar of Hajj.
After the Tawaf al-Ifada, pilgrims are expected to perform 2 rakat prayers at Maqam Ibrahim and then proceed to Safa and Marwa for Sa'i.
When you come to Safa, you do some specific supplication, that is prayer, dua, and from there proceed to Marwa. In between, there's a place we call it Milain al-Ahlarain. It's just a green mark. It has already been marked by green light. So when you go there, you are expected to increase the speed of your trekking. Immediately you finish, the next things to come is shaving. But the sacrificing of the animals should be done on the 10th, even if you didn't perform the Tawaf al-Ifala and Sa'i and Safa al-Marwa. Trekking between Safa and Marwa, you can sacrifice the animal there.
Having done these on the 10th of Zulhijjah, pilgrims go back to Mina.
Spend another additional 2 days. That is 11, 12, 13. When you go back to Mina, then the following day on the 11th, you should go and throw the stone also to Jamra. That one should be 3 times. The first Jamra, 7. The second Jamra, 7. The fourth Jamra, the third Jamra, 7. So when you finish, you do your prayer, supplication, ask what you want. Like Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. A lot of supplication. Anyone will be able to recite, you do it. Then you come back to Mina again. You spend another night. Then the following morning, you proceed again and did the same thing as we did on the 11th. That is from the first Jamra, second Jamra, the third Jamra. When you finish, you come back to Mina. But on that day, you have the option. You can easily go back again and do another throwing of stone so that you can leave. Or you should spend another night, 13th of Zulhijjah. You go back again and do the same thing, throwing of stone. Then you will leave the Mina area.
This completes the Hajj.
I don't know what the Commission is doing this year to prevent.
How often has the National Hajj Commission embarked?
How can they make it more comfortable? At the national level, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, there are 6 days in which the Hajj rites are performed.
We are putting in place mechanisms to ensure that on each flight, at least we should have, as much as possible, the medical personnel to accompany the pilgrims.
From 2007, gone. This problem is gone.
And what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is this Hajj is compulsory at least once in a lifetime.
Jibril Goma, through his WhatsApp number 0803-970-2588, sent in the first message. The message reads, "We appreciate the efforts of NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullah Mukhtar, the media unit of the Commission and the entire Muslim Ummah who are working tirelessly for the betterment of Hajj management in Nigeria." The second message comes from Salisu Suleiman via WhatsApp number 0803-450-4358. The message says, "I commend NAHCON Media Unit for providing more information to the public concerning the 2017 Hajj Fair. More should be done to counter any negative tendencies being spread by mischief makers."
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا